than laws. So I call them principles. So in my internal way, I could still feel related to the conscience of the group, South Italian way, but call them principles. So I could relax inside and I could follow them in a more relaxing way. It has been a trick, yeah, and the internal trick, how to relax internally. Then the principles, they slowly started to mean something different. What does it mean, this principle? What it is, the principles about? Principles, they are seeds. Let me be a little bit of poetic here. They are keys, they are seeds, they are possible ways to make us shift from that unconscious way, from that blind way, into a more conscious and more mature way in connecting, in love. So principle of love are seeds to connect at the best. They are keys to connect at the best. And connection doesn't only go into family of origin. Of course, it starts from there. It starts from our biological, connection, which is practically also the internal connection that we have with ourselves, self-love, as we say, and also the connection with the other people in our, where we grew up, where we were born, father, mother, siblings, and uncles, aunties, and grandpas, people that they have in a way created that force, that group, that conscience where I have been born into. So they are simply seeds for that we need to implant in ourselves and work around that and move into, and let them rooted first, and then out of this rooted place, then they can slowly grow and manifest into a blossoming the way that we are in our unique way, in our unique being. And that is manifestation of maturity for me. And that is where you and me and everybody, we need to flow. We go back and forth from being unconscious and how we can move into being more connected and being more mature in this love. So these principles, that are basically three, they guide us and they give us the possibility to be aware when we are blind and to choose where to move out of that and becoming more mature and move into that maturity. And in maturity, it doesn't mean I need to be connected all the time with you. It means that now maybe something is not okay between you and me, and I just have to withdraw. And I need to withdraw, but not to withdraw so far then that connection is broken. I need to withdraw that far that is important to take a breath or feel my boundaries, or feel that my heart still includes you and my heart still make a connection with you. And that is because then our need is basically fulfilled and respected. These three principles, if you want me to go straight, they are belonging, hierarchy, and hierarchy is an important word because it's not like you are better than me or I'm better than you. It's like, say, a respect of rank. Yeah, I can say a little bit more about this too. And the third one is giving and receiving, which is basically one of the most important key or seed to create a flow and a movement of connection, stable and mature between two human beings. So belonging, hierarchy, and giving and receiving is what in the class of the principle of love, I go class after class into bringing each of this key and explaining, and then how to know some informations, not only informations for our cognitive brain, but also from the soul movement that can be respected and can be guided from moving from the blind love into the mature love. What we do blindly and how we can create a link, a bridge into more mature love.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's great. What I love about this approach, what you're presenting, is also that approach that helps understanding how much from my own perspective, how much of the our belief system on love comes from from our parents, from that conditioning of our parents, and you mentioned that before, how often blindly I react to some situation or create a situation that repeats actually patterns of my parents. And as an example, lately I just noticed, I grew up in a family where my father was absent since I was 6. He basically left. He was living in France, so my parents had a distant relationship, and so that was for me something that I never wanted to repeat in my life. And yet I find myself now in a loving relationship with a beautiful woman, and we are especially lately in this relationship, when we are together and then apart, together apart, and it's kind of like um, and I catch myself thinking, oh my God, I'm actually repeating in a way my parents' um, way of relating, which is also partly distant, and in terms of like being, in different places and then being together again. And so I think it's a big part of the work you do, is bringing that awareness to this escapes, and then bringing tools that you are offering in these 3 parts of belonging, hierarchy, and giving, receiving, how to shift those patterns, because those patterns are very it's a part of identity. So the big question is like how we can change that pattern and come out to the healthy, loving relating to our family, to our friends, to our partners, to our children, and in general environment.
That's a that's a journey, huh, Nisarga?
Yeah.
What a journey! Huh? What a journey! Yeah, what a journey! And I relate very much to your journey. And thank you, first of all, to saying, to bring your personal thing into this into this interview or connection, let's say. Um, I also come from a family where, even though they have tried their best, of course, because what to do with all their blindness and unconsciousness, they tried whatever they could. Yeah, my parents.
Mm-hmm.
And even though that has been a fact, another fact is that I have had a very abusive, physical abusive father. So it was kind of padre padrone if we call like that in Italian language, and that means a controlling but also a very abusive and father that of course has challenged a lot my life as a kid, a lot. And I had also a mother that she's not alive. My father is still alive. He is 85 years old. My mother, 10 years ago, she died. And she was mostly a loving but a bit more victim part into this relationship. And she lost her father when she was 6 years old. So in a way, for me, blindly, when I came in the row of 5 children, I'm the last one, like little bambino, the small one. What I felt, I sniffed, and important to understand is that it was blindly, it was out of connection and wanting to be connected. I started to take that burden, and that burden of my mother, of being so sad for the loss of her father, and trying to become a good father for her, and then having her and my father into a very conflict relationship. I tried even to be in the middle between them, to pull them together, but to become a better man for my mother than my father, and so that would increase even more the conflict with my father too. So it was a mess. Blindly, I started my superhero thing, where I come out from being just a child and behaving in so many different ways. For what? For that need of saving, of pleasing, helping, bringing, this group of people in a way together. But we know high price to pay, yeah? And to the point where the shift comes, and shift comes because first of all I need to bring that clarity into my family of origin, because as you said beautifully, then if we are not completely so awaken into this, then we project and we bring blindly into our relationships, whatever relationship, mature relationship, and for sure finding it out some of these same movements with my wife, and with my two girls, my two daughters, and acting upon the same situations again blindly. So that's important, of course, to deal with what we have right now, but to have a look into the background and to see wait a moment, what I have learned from my parents, what I have copy paste from my parents, what has been definitely my position off of my place, and where I would like to go back. Of course, there is a price to pay when I need to go back to my space of child. I long so much to go back to that place, but therefore there is a price to pay. I'm afraid that I might be excluded in case I'm gonna do something different. Yeah, I will not belong anymore if I not act into saving my mother and trying my best to protect the entire family from my father. I might be not loved anymore if I just am the child there and I just receive, for instance, from my parents instead of wanting to give back something, because this is a condition thing. Because I gave you life, then you should pay back to me or give something to me. That's the conditions. And then also in the hierarchy into this rank, understanding that I'm the last one. I just came after all my brothers and sisters. By the time of I landed on this planet and in that group, which is family group, I come even after the relationship from my father and my mother. So I have nothing to say of their relationships. They are the grown-ups. And my grandpa, he died when my mother was 6 years old. And nevertheless, can I be her father? No, she has it. I know, even if it's painful to feel my mother with that wound, of having lost her father. But can I take the burden on me and create some safe space for her? I tried, and I tried, and I tried. It might have given to her glimpses of happiness, but I would have never, I didn't succeed in save her. And I tried my best. I am a pleaser into, and this, savior into my personality structure. I do everything for you before I do something for me. That's my pattern inside. And that is what I bring also in the relationship with my wife. 34 years being together with her. Yeah. And my two girls, now one is 20 and the other one will turn 18 in 1 month. So all this structure into how can I shape myself, and I shift myself and I bring understanding into this, it's important. And these keys, they have been helpful for me to the max in Sarga. I mean, they have been really a huge support from the back into moving back and forth, because it's not because I know all this stuff I behave only consciously. No, I'm a human being, as I said at the beginning, and I shift and flow and dance between being unconscious and to being mature and conscious. And whenever I am immature or unconscious and I behave, I see it. It's quick. I see. I can go back to my kids, for instance, and say, I apologize for what I did. I knew it and I did it, and I will do that differently. And every time I bring that awareness in service of me and in service of being a father, for instance, in this case.
Beautiful, beautiful, Great, great. I wanna ask maybe some of the viewers some questions. If you guys have, I don't know how to. I'm trying to do it on from my iPhone, so I'm gonna log into this live on Facebook, and I'm gonna see if I can see some comments. Uh, I don't see our live on Integral Body Institute right now. I don't know why. Mhm. Not sure how to do it. Oh wait, maybe here.
Well, I wish I could help you. I'm the less technological person on this planet.
I'm doing it from a different program. I'm doing it first time from Zoom, so I don't know how to go into actually to the comments on live. But if you have any questions to Praful, please ask them, and we'll try to reply on them under the live on Facebook later. So I'm really really grateful for your honesty also, and like vulnerable sharing. And for me, I really admire and appreciate teachers who show their humility also, and vulnerability, because even though and you have such a huge experience, you're still human being, you're still aware of all content we carry, and it's a beautiful to have that connection, and I feel just my heart is also opening up more to have this kind of sharing with you. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Nisarga. Thank you. Thank you so much. I can absolutely feel right now goosebumps in feeling your heart. So that's the alchemical connection. One open heart with another open heart. That is the alchemical connection of two human beings.
So if I want to mention also, Praful will be with us offering 3 weeks training, Principle of Love. And this will be 3 modules, 2 hours each. The first module is called Belonging. As Praful mentioned, it's going to be on 8th of June. Second module is Hierarchy, 22nd of June. And third one is Giving and Receiving on 29th of June. And if you would like to know more, there's a link below this live. Feel free to check. I'm super excited to join also this course with Praful and learn more and grow more and be a better person. Thank
Mm. Oh, thank you so much. Let's gather all gardeners
you.
and to plant these seeds in our beautiful inner land. Let's make that possible and welcome everybody. If you feel the longing for your soul to do this, you're most welcome. Most welcome.